everybody. So we're so excited. We are here to talk about the winter movie season, our thoughts, what we liked, what we didn't like, and it should be pretty fun. And David Healy's here with me.
Hey, thanks for having me back again.
Yeah, thanks for coming. This is so fun. And we did our preview of March and April. We're kind of dividing it into smaller batches for 2018. So make sure you check that out. This is mainly December, January, and February. So movies. And we have a lot to go over. So some of these we'll talk about in more detail than others. So please, if you want to know more about what we thought about certain films, then just say in the comments section or let us know what you think. And so we're going to start out with an Oscar contender, Oscar winner as Best Adapted Screenplay, Call Me by Your Name. What did you think about this one?
I mean, I really like Call Me by Your Name, and I kind of knew I was going to like it. So, I mean, it's about a gay couple, but they're two straight guys in real life.
Right.
They really had like palpable chemistry between them, and I think that was the best selling point of the movie. So yeah, I really loved it.
Yeah, I actually didn't know if you would love it because it's pretty. It has a very luxurious pace, I guess you might say. But I enjoyed it very much. The only flaw I really had with it was that just this whole sort of lifestyle of kind of whining and dining in Europe or whatever felt a little hard to relate to sometimes. I don't know. So, but it has tons of heart. And, there's some people who criticized it because he's technically underage. But, I feel like he's 17. He's pretty, it'd be one thing if he was, 14. Right. I don't know. I feel like 17, he's pretty mature. And so it didn't bother me.
Plus, you have to think about the fact that 17 at this time was a legal age in Italy. So
right.
There was nothing illegal happening here.
Right. And his parents were completely aware. And so, I feel like that makes a difference as well. It's a very beautiful, and I'm so glad that James Ivory finally won an Academy Award because I can't believe he never won anything with his work with Israel Merchant in the 90s. He did so many great films. So that was cool too to see.
Isn't he the oldest Oscar winner now?
Yeah, the oldest ever.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I have 148 films that I ended up seeing, 2017 releases, and I have Call Me by Your Name at number 24.
Okay, so we have a pretty similar list number of movies. I have 146.
Okay.
And I have it ranked at 21. So
pretty close.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so then we have The Shape of Water. I finally did see this.
Oh.
With the Best Picture winner, and it does have pretty strong R-rated content. I was probably pretty right to be a little hesitant, but the way I felt about this movie, I think it's a good movie, but I feel, and this is not necessarily a downside, I felt like it is a fairy tale for men, is how I felt. That it had all the sort of classic beats of a fairy tale, but with a masculine kind of energy to it. That even in a lot of different ways, in the way even the sort of romantic scenes felt kind of like there was sort of a forcefulness to it that to me felt kind of masculine, and so it just felt like this is Beauty and the Beast but for men. And but I enjoyed it. It was good, but I don't know. That was just my take.
Okay. Did you feel the same way about Pan's Labyrinth?
Yeah, I think so. It sort of has that one is even more sort of bloody and violent. Right. And that one is also about it's a little child. But yeah, I think so. I did. Okay. I think I felt that way a little bit.
Maybe it's just Guillermo del Toro.
Maybe. But I felt particularly this one, more than maybe Pan's Labyrinth, was really trying to be a fairy tale.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, so that was my take. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I liked it a lot, which when I talk to people about the movie, I probably don't give off the impression that I liked it a lot. The problem is it was just kind of overhyped for me. So I was
Mhm.
expecting something like much bigger than it was, much more original than it is. I don't think it's a very original story at all.
No, it's a fairy tale.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I saw a video on Facebook comparing it to Splash, and it's crazy how similar it is to
Yeah.
Splash.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen that video too.
Right.
But Splash is great. I mean,
Yeah, I love Splash.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's so much good about this movie. Of course, the acting's great. Stylistically, it's perfect. The score's great. Um, there's one scene that kind of took me out of it for a little bit, and I know it's a pretty polarizing scene. It's a dance scene, kind of a fantasy number.
Hmm.
I didn't enjoy that part too much, but for the most part, it was really good. And I think it's worthy of being Best Picture, even though it wasn't one of my top five choices.
Yeah, I think that I agree with you. I mean, I'm on the same page. An interesting exercise, but it's just not the kind of movie that would be like a favorite of mine. But I
Right.
liked it. And I think
Same
it's
here.
certainly worthy. I was glad that it won over three billboards, which I did not like. So
Mm.
that was my
Those are
happy.
fighting words, Rachel, fighting
I
words.
know that was my happiness at the Oscars. I'm like, yay! So I ended up having The Shape of Water at number 40
Okay.
ranking.
So, yeah, so I'm definitely higher on it. I had it at 24, but I'm not surprised that you had it lower. I think I even told you, like, I'm not sure if you should see this, Rachel.
Yeah, I know. I finally gave in. What can I say? But I just got to see the Best Picture winner.
Right. True.
Okay, so then we have Wonder Wheel, which you saw. I did not. What do you think?
Yeah. Wonder Wheel, I saw that. I was visiting my parents and I saw that in Kentucky. It was pretty good. I mean, I like Woody Allen's style. Um, I haven't really I can't think of a Woody Allen movie that I've seen that I didn't like to some degree. I rarely love them though. And
Right.
that's how I felt about this too. It's pretty melodramatic, which Justin Timberlake starts off the movie by saying that it's going to be melodramatic. It's
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's basically a complicated soap opera condensed to an hour and a half that takes place on Coney Island. So it's enjoyable. I know there's a lot of stigma with Woody Allen right now.
Mm,
Um, so I don't know. See
yeah.
it if that doesn't bother you. If it does bother you, don't see it. But yeah,
Hmm.
it's not a bad movie by any means. It's worth seeing once, I think.
Okay. Where'd you have it ranked?
I had it ranked 88. So I know that doesn't sound very high, but that is out of
Yeah.
146
No.
movies. So it's not bad.
Cool. That sounds good. Okay. Then we have I, Tanya. And I I admire that they tried something different with this movie, and I totally get why some people love it, but I didn't love it. I felt like the movie was trying to have it both ways. They were trying to have her be this anti-hero, and at the same time, they were trying to make fun of her, and she's this redneck hick, who makes these terrible decisions.
I actually really enjoyed this. I did not have any of the complaints you had.
Mm.
If anything, my only complaint that I had was more of a technical issue. There were times where she's skating and you can clearly see that Margot Robbie's face is like stuck on somebody else. It
Mm.
doesn't look real. So that's one of the only complaints I had about it. I really liked the stylistic choices. I I think they were fair with Tanya Harding. So I just really did not have any of the issues you had. So I would highly recommend it. I thought it would have been a great Best Picture nominee personally.
Mm.
The acting, as you said, is really strong.
Allison Janney, I thought her performance was kind of one note, but
That's
I
exactly what I say. Yeah.
but I love her, and so
Mhm.
I'm very excited that now I have that now the parents and Juno are both Oscar winners, because I
Oh,
love Juno so much. I was saying that on the Oscars, I'm like, I'm just going to pretend that they both won for Juno,
yeah.
but because they're so great, but yeah, the acting is really good. I appreciate that they tried something different. It's not terrible. Maybe I overspoke, but I didn't end up loving it like I'd hoped to. I ended up at maybe this is gonna sound super high now, but after what I said, I have it at 70 in my ranking.
Okay.
So there.
Yeah, 70 does seem high for you saying I didn't like it.
Yeah, fair. That's fair.
I have it at 26.
I think just for the performances and alone, and it did try something different. But Star Wars: The Last Jedi, and I'm very like mixed on this movie. I loved Reylo so much. I thought they had such chemistry. I never would have thought that they would have such chemistry. I thought their scenes were amazing. I really liked the battle scenes. I thought were effective. I thought it looked really nice. It was overall, I think, entertaining. But I had major issues. I hated Space Leia so much. I thought it looked terrible and it was super cheesy and I just didn't like it. I really didn't like Luke being the hologram. I thought that was very anticlimactic.
Spoilers. Wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everybody's seen Last Jedi at this point. That's seen.
Yeah, probably.
I didn't like the Rose and Finn plot very much. I didn't think that worked, especially them trying to sort of wedge in sort of modern day messaging, animal rights, and things like that. Didn't work. Didn't like that. I didn't like Admiral Holdo, the Laura Dern character. Didn't like her. I felt like she got stuff that I wished that Leia had. She got dialogue and conversation and choices that I wished Leia had. So I had problems with it, but overall, I still left feeling entertained and feeling like there was enough good for me to enjoy the experience, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm not huge on Star Wars like a lot of people are. I've seen all the movies. I've seen most of them more than once. I think the only one I haven't seen more than once is Rogue One. But I think I have unpopular opinions when it comes to Star Wars. When I was in high school, my favorite movie was The Phantom Menace of the Star Wars movies. I know. Yeah. And I actually really liked The Last Jedi more than I expected. And I don't know if it's in response to the negative feedback that it got that I didn't feel like was justified, because it seemed like so many people who had problems with the movie, and it doesn't sound like this is the case for you, but most people, it seems like their issue was, oh, it didn't follow what I wanted it to do. It didn't have the twists I wanted. And okay, that would have been boring if it was as predictable as people had hoped it would be. So I really enjoyed it. I mean, I liked Rose and Finn. Sure, their plot was pointless, but I really thought Rose was a fun and likable character. It has my favorite battle scene of any Star Wars movie. Yeah, in the Snoke's little area with the guards in their red robes.
And plus I had so much fun with all those the internet thing that started with that being put to different music. Did you ever see any of those?
No.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. For some reason, it just never failed to make me laugh. They would put it to like everything. There'd be like to the chicken song or whatever, and it was so funny. I died laughing. But I even did one of my own to Let It Go. And I don't know, I just love it. I think it was so hilarious. But yeah, I agree. Having Star Wars: The Last Jedi at number 41 on my ranking.
Oh, okay. I had it at 30.
Okay.
Yep.
I hated
also, are you are you pro Porg?
Pro Porg. They were really cute. I thought
they were one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, they were really cute. And oh my gosh, Reylo. What did you think of Reylo? Were you a fan?
I mean, yeah, I liked it. I liked their dynamic.
Somebody needs to cast them together in like a romantic movie, like just like the actors, because they had such chemistry. It was amazing. Okay, so next we have Ferdinand. I saw this actually right before seeing Last Jedi, and I thought this was sweet. It's not like the best movie ever, but I thought it was overall sweet and had a nice little message, and and I thought it had some funny parts, some good laughs. It's kind of forgettable, but I thought it was sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you had pretty low expectations for this.
Yeah, the trailers were terrible, I thought.
Yeah. Um, so I also saw this in Kentucky. I was visiting my family. My mom had been diagnosed with leukemia recently,
Oh
so
no.
yeah. So I've been going back to visit them more often, and my mom had just gotten out of the hospital, and I said, "Let's go see a movie together." And I invited my dad. So the three of us, both of my parents and I, went and saw Ferdinand, which was a cool experience for me because I can't remember the last time I've seen a movie with both of my parents.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, I actually really enjoyed it a lot more than I expected to. Um, it just yeah, the trailers didn't do it justice. It didn't do the story justice. But yeah, there were a lot of really good characters, some good moments. It's not the most memorable movie, but it's one movie that I know I would have no problem putting it in my DVD player and watching it again.
Yeah,
So,
agreed. Yeah, and the score actually I thought was really good. It was one of
mhm.
my favorites of the year. It was the way
Okay,
that it or the way it combined sort of the Spanish flair.
right.
I thought it was really solid, John Powell. And so I have it at 58 in my ranking.
Okay, we're really close. I have it at 60. So,
Mm, mm. So yeah, Blue Sky, they managed to, I feel like, always make um, these solid sort of base hits.
right.
I did love the Peanuts movie. That's the one that I thought was home run. But they make solid, entertaining movies, I think. Okay, so next we had Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. And I thought this was really funny. I was pleasantly surprised. The trailers, were kind of lame. I don't have a huge emotional attachment to the original. So I don't know if maybe that's part of the reason why I enjoyed it. But I don't know. It just made me laugh. I thought it was funny. And so it's as simple as that. Sometimes with comedies, that's just it. Didn't make me laugh, then it succeeded in its job if it did. Pretty simple with comedies.
Right. Yeah. This movie is one that I didn't have the highest expectations for, but it did surpass them, but not by much. I do think it is a little bit overrated. It had some funny moments. I thought a lot of the humor was kind of cheap, like going for the, the penis jokes, stuff
Yeah.
like that. And I mean, it had a good amount of action. I don't know. I am more sentimental about the original than it sounds like you are. So yeah, I liked it. I didn't love it, and I think it is a little bit overrated in my book. But it's been interesting to watch
Mhm.
its box office run.
Yeah, just do so well.
Yeah,
I mean it's the best movie I think Karen Gillan has been in. I personally think I don't understand her as the thing. I don't think she's a good actress, but she was fine.
yeah.
So I have it at 51 in my ranking.
Okay. I had it at, let's see here. I had it at 70.
Mm, okay.
Also, it's worth pointing out that it's out of 2017 releases. It's now the fourth highest grossing film from 2017.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and
Holy
it's
cow.
right on the tails of Wonder Woman. So
That's
I wouldn't
amazing.
be surprised if it ends up number three.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, The Greatest Showman we have next. So I I've actually seen this 4 times. I know it has flaws. I get it. It's not like the dialogue isn't the best, but I just really like the songs and I really like the old-fashioned feel, the family message. I really like the overall message of this is me and be who you are and don't be afraid of judgment of the world. And I don't know, I just really enjoy it. I think it's really fun. And um and so I have it really high in my rankings. I don't know what about you? What do you think of The Greatest Showman?
Okay, I really love The Greatest Showman too. Like
Yay!
much more than I expected. I've seen it 3 times.
No,
I,
yay!
I wouldn't mind seeing it a fourth time, honestly.
Did you
Um,
go to one of the sing-alongs?
I didn't. I definitely considered it though.
Oh,
Did you?
yay! I'm so happy that you liked it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So a lot of people, well, okay, specifically one person I know had an issue with this movie because of the real P.T. Barnum not having a great reputation, not
Right.
being as great of a person as he's portrayed in this film. But I don't care. I mean, this is a fictional film. For all I care, this is a completely made up story. It might as well
Yeah,
be. But
exactly.
I love the music so much. Like my least favorite song is still a great song. Like
Yeah.
I think that's probably Tightrope, but I still love Tightrope.
Oh
Um,
yeah. I think the weakest song is the never get there. I think
Never Enough.
never
That's
enough.
my
Yeah.
favorite.
That's your favorite?
It's
I
my
still like
favorite.
it, but it's probably my least favorite of the movie. But it was really charming and really infectious and really positive, and I like that you can take the whole family. And everybody can enjoy it, and like it has. I mean, this movie is super popular in Utah, big time popular.
Some things I could nitpick about the movie, though. I think my main issue is that you have such a diverse cast, but they
Mhm.
really gave storylines to all the white characters.
Yeah,
And
that's fair.
they kind of wasted all the minorities, except for probably Zendaya. She had
Mhm.
a little bit of a story. We didn't know much about her background, but at least she had a little bit of a story going on.
Yeah,
Even the bearded lady didn't have that much of a story in this.
yeah,
So,
that's fair.
um,
I agree with
yeah.
you there. The dialogue could have been better. It's a little clunky, but I don't know. I just really enjoyed it, and so
Yeah.
I have it at 13 in my ranking.
Oh, okay. See, okay. I think I like it more than you do. I have it at number 4.
Ah, that makes me
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah.
That makes me really happy. Uh, okay, and I don't know. Like, there's part of me that's like, because I have Dunkirk at 12, and I'm like, do I really like Dunkirk more?
Mhm.
Like, I think it's a better movie, but do I like
Right.
it better? Like, that's where
Yeah. No, I see that.
the rankings are
And
dumb in the end. I don't know.
right. Every time I saw the movie, I would move The Greatest Showman up because I'm like, this is a ranking of my personal favorites. I can't,
Yeah,
I'm not being objective. This is completely subjective. So
yeah,
I kept moving it up. Like Dunkirk, I probably would have given Best Picture to Dunkirk. But yeah, I still enjoy The Greatest Showman a lot more.
yeah. Anyway, okay, so Pitch Perfect 3. This movie brought out my angry side. I love the first Pitch Perfect movie. I love it. I think it's so funny. I think it has such heart. I just love it. I love the music. This movie, well, the second one wasn't as good, but it was watchable, I think. And then the third one I thought was just absolutely terrible. Like, what are they doing having Fat Amy become like an action star in the last third of the movie? She's like karate chopping people and like saving them from her weird, horribly acted father. Like, John Lithgow was so bad in it with his stupid accent. I said in my review, I thought that he should be banned from ever going to Australia ever with that horrible accent. I thought all of the songs were basically lame. I mean, they don't even have that many a cappella songs. They've got all these other songs, and I did not understand them changing Becca. Like, all she wanted to do was produce music. That was her dream, and she like discards it just because of some stupid, bratty pop whatever rapper guy, some difficult star. And she had never had any dreams of becoming a solo singer. That was never anything that she wanted. And she didn't even want to be part of the Bellas, that she wanted to produce music. That was her everything. And she just like discards it for nothing in this. And that really irritated me. They just like discard the boys, and because obviously they weren't returning, but they just like in one line, which was annoying. I really did not like this DJ guy that like took up tons of time. I was so irritated with this movie. I did not like it at all. And there you go.
Are you done?
I'm done. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this movie was disappointing, but I knew I was going to be disappointed.
Yeah, that's fair. The trailers were really terrible.
Yeah, it's really sad how much Pitch Perfect has hurt its legacy with these sequels.
Yeah.
Um, you you would think that they could come up with something better because the first one just it became like a viral sensation almost because like it wasn't very popular when it was in the theaters, but everybody was watching it when it came out on DVD. Yeah, this movie, it didn't do anything for me. What I like about the first one, and to a degree the second one, is there are songs that you just can't help but remember and keep thinking about, and it brings you to Spotify or whatever to listen to the soundtrack. I have
Yeah.
zero desire to listen to the soundtrack. They didn't do anything special with the songs.
Yeah.
It might as well just been karaoke, like pretty good karaoke.
Yeah.
Plus, I hate DJ Khaled,
Yeah.
so
He was
his
terrible.
involvement in, yeah. So yeah, it was really just, I don't want to make it sound like I hated the movie, because it was fine, I guess. It was
Mm.
fine, but it could have been so much better. Like,
This is the easiest movie in the world to write. Like seriously, all if you want to have a pitch perfect movie after they're finished college, just have them enter like a reality show kind of thing for a cappella groups, which they've done. They've had those shows. So have them enter one of those, and then trying to and you can have various things happen, conflict, whatever, and that makes it so easy to have the songs, so easy. It just works. Like Becca would probably be in LA, so it makes sense, where they'd be filming it, and just
mhm.
have them get together and be on a reality show. There you go, you got your movie. Instead of having what on earth having Fat Amy like this action star. It was so bizarre. I do not understand what on earth. I have it at 143
Oh
in my
wow, see,
ranking.
yeah.
I really hated it. It was really, really
Okay,
bad.
but would you have hated it this much if it was a movie, like standalone film?
Probably not, but
Okay.
yeah, I mean, his accent was so bad, and I don't know, it's something that was very special to me. Like I hardly ever have new comedies that I love, like
Mhm.
current comedies, and I loved The First Pitch Perfect so much, and so it really bummed me out.
Okay. I had it at 92. So
Okay, the king of generosity. No, just kidding. Oh, okay. So then we have downsizing, which I have not seen yet. I know you really liked it.
yeah, I really like
Yeah.
downsizing. I saw it twice. Um, so I mean, I was really intrigued by the trailers, but I don't think it even did it justice. And this is such an unpopular opinion, because apparently a lot of people hate this movie.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's kind of a message movie, kind of a liberal message movie, so it's not for everybody. Um, but just some of the acting. Okay, I'll be honest. Hong Chow
Hmm.
plays this Vietnamese refugee who loses her leg and becomes a cleaning lady in this community with these downsized people. And she made the movie for me. She was
Yeah.
amazing. There were moments where she like had me cracking up, where she tugged at my heartstrings. She doesn't show up till halfway through the movie, but the second half of the movie with her in it was enough to really make me love this movie. And I cannot believe she was not nominated for an Oscar. Like, it was the biggest robbery of Oscar season for me.
Hmm.
She was just great. And any flaw that the movie had, she made up for.
I've heard that from other people. I definitely want to see because I do love Alexander Payne, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But I wanted to mention two Christmas movies that I saw that you didn't see. One is called The Moomins and the Winter Wonderland, and this is a
Okay.
super cute animated movie about these Moomin trolls that are popular in like Sweden and Finland and whatever. And it's stop motion, and they took clips from a old TV show and they actually were able to combine it together to create something new. It was kind of cool, and it's
Okay.
very very sweet and has Alicia Vikander and Bill Skarsgård as voices. And so if you want just a sweet little movie for your like little toddlers, 5 and under, like kindergartners kind of thing, they'll love it. And I have it at 62. And then the other holiday film that I have is a spectacularly terrible movie that it's hard doing rankings on movies that are so bad they're good, because it's absolutely terrible and I have it very low in my rankings, but is the movie Pottersville. And this movie is just, it has to be seen to be believed. It has Michael Shannon starring as this man who's this general store owner, and he comes home one day and he finds out that his wife has decided to become a furry, and played by Christina Hendricks. And so his response to that is to become Bigfoot, and like he starts like scaring the town, and these Bigfoots. It's completely insane and ridiculous, and there's all these like allusions to It's a Wonderful Life, which feels so weird, like in this Bigfoot movie, and it's just terribly, like, it's so bad, but it is hilarious in that so bad it's good level. I mean, I have it at 145 because it is spectacularly bad, but oh my gosh, you got to see it. It's probably the worst Christmas movie I've ever seen.
To check that out. By the way, I didn't say downsizing is 17 for me for the year.
Oh, okay, great. So Darkest Hour was the Churchill movie with Gary Oldman. He won an Oscar for. So I thought this was kind of boring. It was fine. It was well made, put together, but it was kind of dull, in my opinion.
Yeah. There's not much more to say. Yeah, it's a well-made movie. Joe Wright did a good job. It's just not the most entertaining movie. There's one scene that I really enjoyed. It's a scene where Winston Churchill goes on the subway and he's talking to everyday normal people about what they expect from their government, what they think that they should do regarding this war. And that was a very powerful scene for me. But for the most part, it didn't excite me. I thought that Gary Oldman did a great job, and he definitely earned his Oscar. But yeah, it's not something I'll rewatch.
Yeah, I have it at 71 on my ranking.
Okay. I had it at 84.
Okay. Yeah, it's in that, like, I have like probably 15 movies that are like I admire, but I admire for various accomplishments, but I didn't really like love. Anyway, that's right in there with I, Tonya, and something that we'll talk about. But okay, so Father Figures, you saw that?
Yeah, I saw Father Figures. It was funny-ish. It didn't leave a lasting impression for me. It's a low belt humor again. So I don't know. If you don't have high standards for comedies, I'd recommend it. Okay. But yeah, this is actually my lowest ranking movie of the 2017 movies that we're talking about. Oh. So I have it at 107. Okay.
All right. Okay, then we have The Post. This was our Steven Spielberg, Meryl Streep, Tom Hanks movie. I was going into this expecting it to be super preachy, and there's a little bit of there is a fair amount of talking about current events or whatever, but I felt like he didn't forget to still make an entertaining movie with tension and good performances, and it wasn't like I hated the movie The Conspirator. It was a Robert Redford movie that was so heavy-handed. I felt like in the modern day metaphor, I guess, that really irritated me. This I felt like was still an entertaining movie. I actually quite enjoyed it very much. I thought the performances were good, and I thought it clicked along nice. It wasn't boring, and so yeah, I liked it. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty good. They managed to make something suspenseful and tense that you wouldn't expect the storyline to be that tense, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I agree.
Right. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I wouldn't have put it up for Best Picture. Definitely not when I think about the others that could have been nominated instead. The performances were pretty good. I wouldn't put Meryl Streep for Best Actress though. But it's just kind of like obligatory at this point.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I mean, I like Steven Spielberg. He can't make anything bad in my book, basically.
I mean, I thought this was way better than Bridge of Spies. I thought it was way more like tightly written. It was way more less boring than Bridge of Spies. I just thought it was better in pretty much every way. than Bridge of Spies, and I certainly thought it was better than BFG. So, but it was pretty impressive that he made it in like he's like started making it at the beginning of the year, and
Okay.
he pulled it off in an incredibly short period of time, which is interesting. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, I have it at 21 on my ranking.
Oh, wow. I didn't expect it to be that high for you.
Yeah, I really enjoyed
Yeah.
it.
I had it at 79.
Mm,
So
okay.
yeah, I just wanted to add though, like my friends and I had been wondering like what was the timeline on creating this film. So that's interesting because
Yeah.
it really is like regardless of political beliefs, I think everybody should realize that the media shouldn't be silenced.
All
And
right.
so it is a timely topic. I don't want to get on any soapbox about that, but
No, no, I agree. I don't want a movie to be more about message than about the movie. You know what I mean? Like
right.
unless it's
I
a
agree.
documentary, I guess. And I was worried that it would be. It's not as good as in my opinion as Spotlight. Spotlight had
Right.
characters and was more emotional for me. But I yeah. But I don't know. I just thought it walked that, like I said, compared to if you see this movie, The Conspirator, which I just thought was so heavy-handed.
Mhm.
Anyway, okay, so then we have Hostels. I did not get to see this one. What do you think?
Hostels, I thought looked better than it turned out to be. It wasn't the most entertaining movie. It wasn't the most original either. Um, some of the acting was pretty questionable, um, but yeah, it still wasn't bad. It's kind of the definition of an okay movie for me for the year.
Mhm.
Um, it's pretty graphic, pretty gory. Um, like yeah, it wouldn't be something I would highly recommend at all.
All right, sounds
And
good.
yeah, I ranked this 81.
Okay. Then we have All the Money in the World. I just saw this the same day as I saw The Darkest Hour, and I kind of
Eh,
feel the same way about both of them. I felt like both of them were well made. Both of them were, they did a good job, but it was kind of boring. I just didn't get like emotionally invested in this kid and his sort of story, even though they did a good job as far as the acting and the other stuff. I don't know. I just felt like it was a little too slow for me.
I mean, it is a little bit slow. I did enjoy it though. I was invested in the character. I thought Charlie Plummer was very good. Like I think he's kind of the unsung hero of this movie. People are talking about
Christopher
Christopher
Plummer.
Plummer, yeah, but I think and I they're not related as far as I know. But I
Yeah,
actually enjoyed him more. Michelle
I think
Williams.
it was yeah, her character I didn't bond as much as I wanted to with. I don't know. She just I just didn't. She was a little hard hard to relate to sometimes.
Yeah, it was subtle. Her performance was subtle, but I appreciated that because I think sometimes that's more realistic. But then again, I sound like a hypocrite because I thought Casey Affleck was way too subtle in shoot what Manchester by the Sea.
Oh,
Uh,
interesting. Um,
so
yeah, I have it at 73. I didn't hate it. It was
okay,
just a little slow for me.
yeah, I have it at 52.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so then we have Molly's Game. Didn't see that one. What did you think?
Molly's Game is a really well made movie. The people that I went to see it with, they all enjoyed it more than I do. Um, really, the screenplay is something that I mean, Aaron Sorkin is known for his screenplays, obviously, but um, he did a great job with the dialogue, with the pacing. Um, it
What
was
about
just
the characters? That's my problem with Sorkin,
yeah,
is I feel
okay,
like yeah, his dialogue is really good, but a lot of times his characters are kind of one note.
yeah, and I could see that. Maybe to a degree with this, but Jessica Chastain, her character was probably one of the most dynamic characters I saw in 2017. So she did a great job. She should have been nominated for Best Actress over Meryl Streep. Um, but yeah, it's a good movie. Plot wise, thematically, it was hard for me to connect. I don't know much about poker. I know poker isn't really the whole story. There's a lot more to it than that, but it just made it a little difficult for me to get into it. But I do appreciate it as a very good film, and I would probably watch it again. I had this ranked at 59.
Okay. So then next we have Phantom Thread. And so this is another one that's in my group of movies I admire more than I like.
Mm-hmm.
It was very well made, very well put together. Paul Thomas Anderson, and had good. The actors did a good job with what was given to them. But my problem is I just didn't emotionally connect with the movie. I felt like it was a little slow, and I don't know. I just felt like the characters were kind of inconsistent. Like 1 minute they would be the girl, 1 minute the female character would be kind of sheepish and quiet, and then the next minute she'd be doing these bold, really like and boisterous kind of things and starting fights and stuff, and I felt like it didn't. I don't know. It just didn't quite work for me what it was trying to do. But it's really beautifully made, and it's has lots to admire about it, and I'm glad I saw it. But anyway, it's right in that middle spot for me.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I don't think I agree with you about the characters. I see that as them being dynamic. I felt like there was a time and a place when they acted certain ways. Like usually when it's just the two of the main characters, then you see her come out more and pester him. It was just so funny to watch him get annoyed at the smallest
Yeah, that
thing.
was good.
Yeah, like it's a much funnier film than somebody would expect, like just based on the trailer. I thought the trailer looked so boring, but
Mm.
I actually laughed a lot. Um, I thought it had a lot of personality. Um, I
Mm.
probably would not have put it up for Best Picture, but there is a lot to appreciate about the film, as you said. Even the ending, like the ending like leaves you like wondering, okay, what's going on here with these two people? And my friends and I, like, we just talked about it for a good 15 minutes after the movie ended. um, so I think it's a good one to watch with people and talk about afterwards, and I think that helps you appreciate it more. I don't
Yeah,
know
that's
if you had that
fair.
type of experience.
No, uh, I ended up with it at 69 in my ranking.
Okay.
So basically, like
um,
Phantom Thread, I, Tonya, Darkest Hour, All the Money in the
okay.
World. They're all movies that I admire but didn't like love.
Okay. I had it at 54.
Okay, cool, good. Okay, so now we are actually in 2018, and we're getting into 2018. All right, so we have Insidious: The Last Key. I know you weren't that high on this, on the franchise. What did you think in the end of it?
Yeah. Okay. So the Insidious movies, they just don't leave an impression on me. I can hardly tell you anything that's happened in any of them, and it's the same case with this one. While I was watching it, I was entertained enough, but yeah, it didn't stick with me. So can't I can't be very high on it. I have it
Mhm.
ranked at 13 for the year out of 17 movies that I've seen. I've
Okay.
actually seen 19 movies, but I haven't put in two movies yet, so it would drop to 15.
Okay. Yeah, I heard that Lynn Shay is good in it, but I that's all I've sort of heard is that she elevates it a little bit, her acting.
Okay.
But I don't know. So next we have I wanted to talk about a movie called Faces Places. This is a documentary. This is 2017 technically, but I didn't see it until January. This is a documentary by Agnes Varda about her and her friend JR, who go around France and do these photographic installations, and they absolutely should have won Best Documentary. Really, the documentary branch is so ridiculous. I hate the documentary branch, and it's just, this movie was so sweet, it was so funny, and I really liked the art was really good. Like sometimes installation art can be super pretentious and annoying, but this was so sweet and so fun. And it I can't imagine, honestly, anybody disliking this movie. It is so sweet and so cheerful. And the only real like flaw with it is that you don't really get to know JR very much. It's kind of Agnes's story, but she is the best. And I resent the fact that we didn't get to see we didn't get to have any words from her or whatever at the Academy Awards, because it would have been, I don't think she was there, but still, like, if we could have heard from her, from JR, that would have been the best. And the Olympics movie won. Oh, made me so mad. But it's just a sweet movie. I really recommend it. It'll make you feel good about the world. And I have it at 17 on my ranking, but I don't know. Like, once I get into like my top 20, it's pretty interchangeable. They're all movies, because I love the movies for different reasons, so it's really hard, but it's very lovely.
Yeah,
And,
this is one that it came into our local art house theater for like 1 week in December, and I hadn't heard much about it then, so I didn't see it, and I like regretted it later on, because I've heard a lot of really good things about it. It has a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. I was surprised it didn't win the Oscar.
I was surprised it should have won. Like, I haven't seen that Icarus movie, but there's no way it's better than Faces Places. But the Academy loves those like social conscious think pieces rather than like what I think, I don't know, rather than more like ambitious documentaries, in my opinion. But that's another story for another day. And the best documentaries didn't even get on the short list, which made me so angry. But okay, so let's talk about Paddington 2. And I love this movie so much. This movie is such a delight. It's so sweet. It's so funny. It's just great. I loved it. It was perfect to me. I just thought it was just one of the best family films I've seen in a long time. It might even be better than the original, because Hugh Grant was so good as the villain. Yeah, I loved it. What do you think?
Yeah, it was great. There's not much more to say than that. Like,
Yeah.
it's super close with the first one. I
Yeah.
don't know which one I would rank higher. This
They're
is
both really good.
this is one I had to convince my friends. Like, none of my friends had seen Paddington. I'm like, okay, we're getting together. We're having a Paddington movie night, and then we'll go see it a few days later when it comes out in theater. So we did that, and all of my friends really liked Paddington too.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like
so
Faces Places. Like, you just can't not like it. It's so cheerful and great. And
right,
yeah.
yes. So yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites of the year, which I
Yeah.
expected. I have it at number 2 for the year.
I have it at number 1. And I have seen,
Okay.
my ranking has 26 movies, because I have 18 movies that I saw at Sundance. So for 2018, because I've been sick, so I haven't been quite as good as I probably should have been about going to films this year in 2018. I had The Commuter, and I liked this better than I feel like most did. I thought it was super entertaining. It was very tightly edited. It wasn't boring. I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it. I thought Liam Neeson was good. I liked the story. It's just sort of this, I don't know, I just thought it was entertaining. I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely like Liam Neeson's niche now.
Yeah.
Um,
And maybe that's part of it, is I haven't seen a lot of his movies, his action movies. I just haven't. And so maybe that's why it maybe felt a little more fresh to me than
okay.
maybe it did for some other people.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, it's a good movie. It keeps you guessing. It keeps you on your toes. Um, it's
Yeah.
it's a good whodunit, basically. And there's nothing predictable about it, I wouldn't say. But
And
yeah,
I thought there was some craft to it. Like, I felt like it was pretty well made. Like,
mhm,
I don't know, I just enjoyed it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I liked it. I don't want to make it sound like I loved it, or it's definitely not going to be high up on my year-end rankings. Or at least I hope. That would be kind of sad for me. But yeah, it's a very solid movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just an entertaining watch if you want a
Mhm.
fun movie. I have it right now at number 6.
Okay, I have it at 7.
Okay, cool. All right, so then we have Proud Mary. I didn't see this.
Yeah,
I heard bad things.
consider yourself lucky. It is so much worse than I expected it to be.
Oh, yeah.
First of all, I'm pretty sure that Taraji P. Henson is the only woman in this entire movie. And there's a good 100 guys that she kills throughout the movie. It's pretty violent. The story is the story is very poorly written. It was extremely disappointing. I even dozed off for a little bit during the movie, which I shouldn't have been with as much shooting as was going on in the movie. But it was just bad, like bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
and
looked
it
bad.
and
So,
it is number 17 out of 17 for me.
okay. It sounds good. So then we had Mary and the Witch's Flower, which was technically a 2017 release. And I was pretty happy this did pretty well. Like they actually had to have two more like two additional weekends that it was playing. So that's good. To see the support of anime made me happy. And this is the first film from a studio called Studio Punic. And I felt like it was a solid base hit first film. It was pretty creative. It's kind of Kiki's Delivery Service meets Harry Potter kind of a thing. And this girl finds out she's a witch, and she ends up going to this witch school. And it was cute. In the animation was pretty good, but it does feel a little bit forgettable, and it doesn't have like the emotional weight of like really good anime. But I liked it. So I ended up in, this is my 2017, Mary and the Witch's Flower ended up at number 33 for me
Okay,
on my ranking.
pretty high.
Yeah, I liked it. It was good. And then the Maze Runner Death Cure, I did not see this. I'm not a fan of this franchise, so I didn't
Okay,
when I was sick and whatever. Didn't see
yeah,
it.
yeah. I like this franchise. This is probably my least favorite of the three.
Okay.
I don't know. It's pretty close with two. But yeah, it's got a lot of really good moments. It's intense at points. I didn't love it, but I liked it well enough. It was pretty much what I expected it to be. So if you liked the franchise, I would definitely say finish it out with this one. It doesn't hurt. But yeah, I have this ranked at number 6.
Okay, cool. All right, now we have Peter Rabbit. Okay, so I like in my notes from this, I said this movie can die. Like I went into this movie not expecting to like it at all. Like, but I always, when I sit in that seat, I try to give every movie the benefit of the doubt. I really do my best. And I think this was better than I expected it to be. I still have I thought that it was very random. Like, it, in the sense of like, you have your protagonist that like, sometimes I felt like we were supposed to like the Domhnall Gleeson character, and then other times I felt like he was supposed to be the antagonist, but then sometimes he's the romantic lead. And I just felt like there were a lot of things about it that felt very random. And even the music, I was like, why all of a sudden they're playing opera and then they're playing hip hop, and then it's like, it just felt extremely weird and random to me. And there were some jokes that landed. I thought some of the animation was nice. I thought that Rose Byrne was sweet in it. But there were some jokes that didn't land at all, and I hated, like the putting a carrot in the man's butt. Like that was just like, what is this? And yeah, a lot of big to do about the allergy joke, which was probably in poor taste, but whatever. I don't know. It was hit and miss for me, but that was better than I was expecting.
Yeah. So we talked about this a little bit a couple weeks ago, but it was just hit for me. Like
Yeah.
it was so much better than I thought it would be. Your issues were not issues for me. Um, it's definitely the most I've laughed at a movie this year. I was
Mhm.
constantly laughing, which I did not expect at all. I liked what they did with the music. I liked that Donald Gleason's character was so dynamic. I can see how that could be an issue for some people, but I mean, I liked guessing, like, should I like this guy or not? Um, yeah, I just the humor. I thought it was great for adults and for kids. Um, so much better than I expected. So yeah, I liked it a lot.
Cool. Good.
And and
Yeah.
yeah, this one I put at number 5. I know I was kind of okay on Maze Runner, and I had that at 6. It's worth noting there is a big gap between Peter Rabbit and Maze Runner.
Okay, cool. Well, I have it at 17, but in all fairness, that includes like 8 Sundance movies. So like 10 Sundance movies. So it would be higher. It sounds lower than it really is, but yeah. Anyway, I have it 17 out of 26. So there you go. All right. So the Big Bad Fox and Other Tales. This movie was very sweet. This is another technically 2017 release. This is if it comes on Netflix, you should look out for it. It's really funny. It's just basically these like short stories of this fox and I don't know, his like funny adventures. It's just a sweet little animated movie, short stories. And I have it at 19 in my 2017 ranking. It's really funny. I really enjoyed it. So, and it has one Christmas short, so where he ends up becoming Santa, the fox. It was really cute. So I recommend that one a lot. Then next we have Black Panther. And I really enjoyed this a lot. I thought it was really good. I liked the way that you had this sort of different philosophy of you had Black Panther who wanted to stay, T'Challa who wanted to stay isolated, like his father, to protect the vibranium and to protect Wakanda. Whereas you had the Killmonger come in and feel like that's shameful. Then why aren't they out there sort of helping people and helping people that are repressed and struggling and whatever, and why are they being selfish? And I thought the dynamic was really good. The characters were amazing, and the only flaw I have with it is in the middle. There's a point where T'Challa is kind of taken out of the picture, and I felt like when he was gone, it dragged a little bit. I really missed his sort of appearance in the movie. I missed his presence in the movie for that like middle period. But other than that, I really liked it. That was great.
Okay. I hated this movie. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, it was very good. I was not super high on it going into it. I thought it looked like it took itself too seriously. And I like my Marvel movies to have humor.
Yeah, it's not as good to me as Thor Ragnarok, which was
no. But luckily this did have humor to it, which was enough for me to be satisfied. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to see it. Like you said, the 3 lead female characters, I loved them so much. Like I could have had a movie with just those 3 and I would have loved it.
Me too.
I like the soundtrack a lot. Great villain. One of the better villains, I would say, in a Marvel movie. Yeah,
because he's right. Like villains are always interesting. Like unless it's like I love like a really old fashioned, over the top, ridiculous villain. Like someone like Maleficent or whatever. Like I love that. But like if you're gonna do the whole layered villain, like it's really like he had a valid point of view. He just took it to this dark place. Where he wanted to invade other countries and wanted to tell them how to run their countries, and so he had a good core kernel of truth in what he believed.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, and I liked that there were some unexpected turns. Like specifically, there was a character that I thought was going to be a bigger deal in the movie, and suddenly they were completely out of the picture, which I didn't expect. I don't know if I want to spoil it, just because like there might be people that still haven't seen this, even though it's the 9th biggest movie in history domestically, which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's also worth pointing out that this movie is very important.
For sure.
Like it's great that we have such a successful film, starring almost a fully Black cast. Like that's great. I'm very happy for the African American community and everybody else who gets to enjoy it too. So.
Yeah, and it's not only that because there obviously have been African American superheroes, characters like Blade and things like that, but in this case, you have a real sort of sense of African culture,
right?
Which is definitely unique. I can't think of and most movies that have an African American cast always have like the white person who's sort of narrating, like as if we need sort of the white narrator, like movies like Glory or whatever, or and that drives me crazy. I hate that. Even a movie like The Book of Life, which I liked, that's a Latino, but they have the white museum director or whatever that's the narrator of this Latino story. I'm like, why did you do that? Like, that drives me crazy. And I love the fact that they just trusted this, and they have a couple white characters, but like, it's their story and it's firmly planted in a sense of place. And some people complained about the action, that it looked kind of cheesy towards the end. I don't know. I just don't care about that in these kind of movies.
Yeah.
It has to be super bad for me to care.
Right.
And usually that's because I'm not enjoying the movie in other ways. But anyway.
Yeah, and also this is the second biggest Marvel movie already, and I think it's on path to surpass Avengers and become the biggest Marvel movie, which is kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think Avengers made up $1.5 billion.
Okay, well, I'm just talking domestically.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see it. It's really, really doing well. And interesting that they decided to bump up Avengers and Infinity War and bump it up a month. Because I think it's just trying to ride off this wave of enthusiasm for.
I didn't even know they were doing that.
Oh yeah, they bumped it up in April.
Okay.
So, all right. So then we have Early Man. This was from the Aardman.
Oh, wait, where did you rank that?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, 2018 rankings. I have Black Panther at number 5.
Okay.
And there are 3 Sundance movies ahead of it that I have.
Okay, I have it at number 4.
So if you didn't include the Sundance movies, it would be number 2.
Okay.
It's really good. Okay, so then we have Early Man. And this was from the team at Aardman, and I've really loved all of their movies. So I guess I'm going to sound more negative than it probably deserves, but I was very excited for it, and I was pretty disappointed actually by this movie. It's not awful; it's fine. But I just didn't think it was very funny, and it was kind of slow for me. And I guess I just was going into expecting it to have all these sort of prehistoric jokes, and it was basically a soccer movie. It was an sports underdog movie, and I'm not that into soccer, and I feel like a lot of the jokes probably really killed it in the UK. Like there were like BC United jokes and stuff like that I know that those are teams in the UK and things like that probably really landed there. But for me, I don't know, I just didn't think it was that funny. And so I was kind of disappointed by it, but I don't think it's awful. It's fine. But anyway, that's where I'm at on it.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I didn't have high expectations to begin with. It's not my style of animation.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I didn't laugh too much. I did laugh a little bit. I didn't realize I was going to watch a sports movie, so that kind of got me off guard.
Yeah, me too.
I guess I was hoping it'd be more about prehistoric times, like something like The Croods, kind of,
Yes, exactly. That's a good comparison.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fine. So
yeah,
with
so
a bunch of eyes, fine.
I have it at 16. Okay. So I have it just above Peter Rabbit, which I don't know. So yeah.
Boo. I have it at 10.
10, okay. So then we have Annihilation, and this is the Alex Garland follow-up to Ex Machina, about this shimmer and these female scientists going into the shimmer to explore it. And I said in my review, and maybe this is a little harsh, but it's kind of how I felt. I feel like this movie I said that it was stupidity wrapped in smart clothing. And so it's the kind of movie that makes you feel like it's doing all these brave things and it's being so like ambitious and whatever. But really, when you like cut it down, it's kind of a mess. Like like, what the heck is it trying to say? Is it trying to talk about marriage? Is it trying to talk about like it's female sexuality? At certain points, it seems like it is. At certain points, it seems like it's talking about these that's about evolution and human mutation and the environment, and it's just very muddled, and like at the core it's basically like a monster movie, but like slow and kind of boring monster movie. And I don't know, I came out of it being like, I feel like I should like this, but I was very irritated with it. And it took me a while to kind of sort of figure out why it irritated me so much. And I think it had a lot of potential, but I don't know, I just felt like it was muddled. I felt like it was not successful in doing what it was trying to do, in my opinion.
Wow. Okay. Well, this might be one of our biggest disagreements ever. So, first of all, you saying that you didn't understand what it was trying to be about. I think the best thing that I've heard is that it's about cancer. One of the characters has cancer, and this thing's spreading kind of like a cancer, changing things, somewhat destroying things.
If it's about cancer, though, then why did they have all this stuff about her relationship and her affair and stuff like that?
Okay. Yeah, I do agree that there were like her affair. I that was my biggest thing, is like how did that come into play at all? Like, what did that matter? My guess is they were trying to be true to the book, but I actually was on the edge of my seat for pretty much the whole film, especially the big climax at the end. I won't give away too much, but there's a scene in the lighthouse, which is where they're heading to. And during that scene in the lighthouse, my eyes were wide. I was on the edge of my seat. I was just so captivated, that entire scene. Like, it was beautiful. It was intense. It was mind bending. Like, it brought me back to when I was a kid and I first saw Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind. It reminded me so much of that feeling that I had just at the end of the movie, where you see the aliens come out at Close Encounters. This movie gave me that exact same kind of feeling of wonder and like, wow, what am I watching? So it was enough to take this movie that I was kind of nervous about, but was really enjoying throughout, and it put it at number one for the year for me. So,
Cool. Yeah, I found it very frustrating. Like, those were beautiful scenes, but what was it, to what end? Like, I don't know. I just felt like this movie was, I don't know, Sound and Fury signified nothing. I just didn't like it. I thought that it was very muddled and like it didn't know what it was trying to say. And so it just irritated me. I didn't like it. But yeah, there you go. So I have Annihilation at 19.
Okay.
Of my ranking of 26, because it is
kind of hurts my heart, Rachel.
I didn't like it. I cannot tell a lie. I didn't think it was good. Okay, so then we had Game Night. I actually saw Game Night on the same night as Annihilation. So thank goodness. I didn't expect to see Game Night. It looks like the type of thing I typically wouldn't like, but I had enough friends who were like, it's so funny, and it's really not too bad as far as the content. And I thought this movie was so funny. I was dying laughing. I don't know, just like practically every joke hit for me. I love Kyle Chandler in this role, because like I'm used to seeing him as like Coach Taylor and like these dramatic roles, Manchester by the Sea and stuff, and him like playing. I thought he was so funny, and I liked the whole cast. I thought they all were funny, and maybe it's partly because my family is like super competitive about games and like super hardcore about stuff like this. So maybe that's part of the reason why it rang really true to me and was very funny. And yeah, it's one of my favorite comedies I've seen in a long time. I really liked it. I thought that scene where he's like with the dog and the bloody dog was so hilarious. I was dying. And I mean, not every gag works. But I don't know, enough did that I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. I really love this movie, and I think I can relate as well. I'm very competitive. Like, it starts off, they meet each other at like bar trivia, and I do bar trivia twice a week with my
Oh,
friends.
you do? Fun.
Yeah, I do. So, and my team is really good, so we would beat them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very funny. It was everything I hoped it would be. The characters were all they all worked for me. I mean, there was one character that I didn't really get her point in being there. It was the Irish lady. Like, I didn't get a great payoff with her
Mm.
character, but for the most part, I really enjoyed everybody. And there were good twists. Um, there were things I didn't see coming. There was a little bit that I was like, oh, well, I know this still has to happen because it was in the trailer and we haven't seen that yet.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no complaints about this movie. It was exactly what I hoped it would be.
Yeah, right now I have it at number 7, but honestly, I don't know. Like, the more I think about it, I'm like, maybe I should move it up, but I
Yeah.
don't know. I just loved it. I thought it was very funny, and I don't go to that many comedies that I really like, so that was really refreshing to go to. So, all right.
Yeah. I had that at 3, by the way.
Oh, 3. Okay, cool. All right. So then there was Winchester, and so I went out of my comfort zone, saw this movie, PG-13 horror movie. This movie was stupid. It did not work at all. I didn't think it had like an okay premise, but I don't know. I just thought like I don't know. I just thought it was dumb. I thought all the scares were dumb. I didn't like it. It wasn't good. I didn't think. And I'm pretty easy to scare, so if you don't scare me, and Helen Mirren's not in the movie as much as you think by the
Mhm.
poster and everything. So it didn't work, I didn't think.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's a really good premise that was completely squandered.
Yeah.
I wasn't scared at all. I was bored a lot.
Yeah.
Um, it was just okay for me. So
Yeah. So I have Winchester at 23 in my rank.
okay,
Yeah.
I have it at 12.
It
See,
would
my
it's the
my
worst.
ranking sounds so high compared to yours because I haven't seen any movies.
Well, it's the worst movie if I take out the Sundance movies that I've seen
Okay,
this year. And then there was Forever My Girl. And I don't did you see this?
I did not.
Okay. So this movie, everybody knows, obviously, I love a good, disposable, silly romance movie. I watch all these Hallmark movies. And that's probably where this movie belonged, is on like Hallmark or Lifetime or whatever. But it's not the worst romance I've ever seen. I think the Jessica Roth, I think she's pretty good in it. But I didn't really like the lead guy. He was really, I wanted him to take a shower most of the time. I'm like, you look dirty, and he was kind of unlikable, and he didn't, and that's a huge key. Like, you have to have likable characters for a romance to work, I think. At 21 in my ranking.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think it looked that good. It didn't even come to my town, so
Okay. So there's another animated movie called Have a Nice Day that I was able to see. This was a 2017 release. And this is really cool. The animation is really cool. It has a graphic novel kind of comic book aesthetic to it, sort of. And it's a mafia movie, but it kind of throws in humor in weird ways. Um, and mafia movies just aren't my favorite. But I think if somebody really loved mafia movies, then they would really enjoy this movie because it is like the animation is cool. It's pretty creative, but it just wasn't my style. I at 106 in my ranking. But if it is if an Asian mafia kind of gritty, bloody kind of animated movie, if that sounds like your thing, then you'll probably love it. But so there you go. Okay, then Mom and Dad, you saw.
yeah, Mom and Dad. It's an interesting storyline. It has Selma Blair and Nick Cage, and they are these parents. They're the mom and dad. But in this community, in this town, for some reason, parents have this unexplained urge to just suddenly kill their kids. Um, so
Okay.
it's about these two kids, Nicolas Cage and Selma Blair, them trying to avoid their parents as their parents are trying to murder them. It's a bit campy. It's pretty fun. Um, It has really good reviews. I think I might have overhyped it a little bit in my mind before I saw it. Um, but it was still good. It was entertaining. It kept my attention. It just kind of ends abruptly
Okay.
and leaves you thinking, "Oh, this doesn't feel like it was complete," you know. Um, but it was still good. And I put this at number 9 for the year.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right, and then there's a couple of more that you've seen. The
Mhm.
Clapper. I haven't even heard of that.
Okay, yeah, the Clapper. It has Andy. Andy is his name in The Office. Ed Helm,
Okay.
um, and Amanda Seyfried. But it's about he lives in L.A. and he is a person who goes to like live studio audiences and claps, basically. But what happens is this late night show host, ends up doing this thing talking about, like, he points out that the same guy is in all these different commercials or um, ads, I guess, and he's clapping, and they make it into this big sensation. Like, let's find this guy, let's find the clapper. And so the clapper, he loses his job because, like, he can't keep clapping in audiences if people recognize him.
Mm.
Um, but
Hmm.
it has such a big plot for something that really, I think, would not, it didn't feel realistic to me at all. It's hard to explain, but like, there's nothing about this guy clapping that would be late night worthy. He wouldn't have gotten the notoriety he's getting in this movie. I just could not buy into anything about this film. It all seemed way too fake. I can suspend my disbelief, but for this story to ring true, like, it was impossible for me. So I really did not like it. I was very disappointed with it. And this is number 16 for the year for me. So only Proud Mary is worse.
Mm. Okay. And then the Cloverfield Paradox. I did not watch this. I did not. I was too busy on Super Bowl Sunday, and with Hallmark stuff I had to do, and it seemed like that like instantaneously everybody was like, "Oh, it was terrible." So I've never seen a movie go through like the whole sort of hype backlash culture like in like a day. It was amazing.
Yeah. No, and that's valid because yeah, it was pretty immediate that reviews started coming out for it, and I realized, oh no, this isn't going to be great, is it? Because I really like the Cloverfield movies, but yeah, this one was not. It wasn't great. It seemed like it had an identity crisis. It was boring. It I had the hardest time paying attention, and I think part of the problem was that I was in my bedroom watching it on TV because it was on Netflix, and I had distractions around me, and I'm like, I'd rather play on my computer than pay attention to this movie. So it wasn't awful, but not very good.
Hmm.
So I put this number 15 for the year.
Okay. And then last for you is Every Day. This is one I really want to see, and I just haven't been able to yet. I think it looks really
Yeah.
cool.
Oh yeah, it's a really good concept. Just okay, so it's about this girl who meets this person who, um, every day of their life they wake up in a different body of somebody the same age. So basically, they're growing older, and they're, so like when they were 5, they would be in a 5-year-old. Now they're 17, 18, and an 18-year-old. But they always start in a different body of somebody around the same location where they are
And
currently.
it's every day
Um, but every
switches.
day, yeah. So, mhm. So they try to meet every single day, like, it's basically them falling in love. I think it's a really interesting premise. It, I think it has a good message if you think about it, about falling for somebody for who they are as a person and not necessarily what they look like. Because this girl, here she is, like, having to meet up with people of all different body types, all different genders, even. Um, and I thought it was a really good concept that was pretty well executed. It wasn't great. Um, and I think it's kind of hard to invest it when you have all of these different actors and actresses being cycled through. But I mean, I liked it more than my friends did. I would recommend it, especially if you like that kind of movie.
Yeah.
So I put this at number 10 for the year.
Cool. Yeah, I really want to see it. I think it looks good.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought I'd say really quick, I know we're over time, but really quick, just thought I'd give a little Sundance recap of things to look out for that I saw. My favorite movie at Sundance, is my second of the favorite of the year, is called Leave No Trace. It has Ben Foster, and he plays this veteran, our Afghanistan veteran who has decided to live off the grid because he can't like handle social interactions, and he has his daughter there with him. It was so moving. And I've really not liked a lot of these off the grid kind of movies because they make the person overly heroic. Like I hated The Glass Castle so much last year, and this was so great. I just was so moved by it. So I'll definitely look out for that. Another movie I loved was called Eighth Grade, which I think is better than Lady Bird, and I think is better than Edge of 17. Similar kind of idea, coming of age story about a young girl who was in eighth grade, obviously finishing up the eighth grade. And I guess maybe I've responded to it especially because she's like a YouTuber, and she gives out these great advice for like for things that she's actually like really struggling with. So she like can't take her own advice kind of, and it was so well written. It was so funny, really good. Then Won't You Be My Neighbor is a documentary about Fred Rogers from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. So sweet, so great. It'll make you, if you have any fondness for him in his show, it'll really make you tear up. It was really good. There was one called Chef Junior, which is another documentary about this child prodigy chef, which I just thought his mother was the coolest person ever, and I loved their like take on parenting. He's a free range kid. They allowed him to kind of pursue his desires and dreams to the point that they're like having this pop-up restaurant in their house like every day. It was super cool. And then there was a movie called Search that is definitely gimmicky. The whole thing is told from the perspective of the John Chu character looking at his computer. He's trying to find his daughter, and so he's looking at who's gone missing. So but it was, I thought it was really entertaining. It was fun. It was exciting. It was a nice little thriller, and I'd never seen a movie like that. I guess there was one called Unfriended, but I didn't see it. But so I don't know how it compares to Unfriended, but it was. I recommend looking out for that when it comes out. I thought it was a good time. So those are the highlights. The worst. Well, I really hated both of the animated films that I saw at Sundance, White Fang and Lulu Over the Wall. I didn't like that at all. But the one that was just gleefully bad, kind of like Pottersville, is the movie Ophelia. And it stars Daisy. It has this great cast, but oh man, it was supposed to be this like feminist empowerment version of Hamlet. It was so bad. It was hilarious. The queen, she has this like secret twin sister, and played by Naomi Watts, who when she's bad, she's really bad, and she was terrible in this. And she plays this like this woman who lives in the forest and is like this like evil enchantress or whatever. I mean, it just completely goes off the rails. It was so ridiculous. I was dying. And like I was there with all these students, my friend's high school students, that she's a teacher. And so I was like digging my nails into my hands, just trying to be like a good example to these youth, because it was not laughing. But anyway, it was a howler. And so it's kind of worth checking out on that level. But anyway, so those are the highlights of Sundance for me this year. So,
and the lowlights.
And the lowlights. Gleefully lowlights. I can't wait till the Rip Tracks comes out for Ophelia. She like storms the castle at the end, and she's like this, and Hamlet is like this emo guy with like thick eyeliner. It was hilarious. So yeah. I have Leave No Trace is at 2, Eighth Grade is at 3, Won't You Be My Neighbor is at 4, Search I have at 9, Little Junior Chef I have at 8, and then Ophelia I have at 24. So there you go. So that's it. that's winner. And so what would you say is maybe your favorite out of all of this, and your least favorite?
Okay, my favorite is definitely The Greatest Showman. Um, yeah, I mean, definitely the movie that like I had no problems going back seeing multiple times, and I still could.
That
So
makes me
yeah,
so happy. I thought I was gonna have to defend it.
nope, nope.
Love
Um,
that. I love that. Yeah, I mean, actually, now I'm looking at my 2017 rankings, and it's of the films we talked about. It's my highest ranked of 2017. It's great.
okay.
So there you go. And then 2018, Paddington 2 Paddington 2 is probably the best movie that I've seen out of all the ones we talked about.
Okay.
The worst, I don't know, like Pottersville was so bad. It was so hilariously bad. But I think the one that made me the most angry was probably Pitch Perfect 3.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, I really hated it. So
Yeah.
there
For
you
me,
go.
the worst one that we talked about is definitely Proud Mary. It should be ashamed, Mary. She should not be proud of this. So,
Okay, good deal. All right. Well, this was really fun. I really enjoyed talking about these.
yeah.
It was fun, and I look forward to talking about March and April. Joining me to talk about this. This is really fun. I love doing
Yeah.
these. And
Anytime.
so, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, the David Healy, or you can find both of us on Facebook in our Film Freaks group. It's just facebook.com/Film Freaks group.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So you can check that out, and I have all links in the description section. And you can find me at Smiling LDS Girl on social media and at Rachel's Reviews on iTunes and YouTube. And so check that out. And thanks again, and we will talk again in a couple of months, couple of weeks.